Welcome back, everybody, to Caravan of Garbage, where we're wrapping up the Wolverine Trilogy.
I had a thought earlier in the week, which is imagine
Oh, yes.
you were a huge fan of Wolverine.
Go on.
But you'd only seen these movies, like no other context. You're not interested in the X-Men movies. You're just like, I love Hugh Jackman. He's Wolverine. I love that. And I know there's a self-contained trilogy. They're always like the Wolverine Trilogy.
Get it in a box set.
And then you watch these three movies. Just a guy fighting a laser-eyed guy on a nuclear power plant tower, and then a guy just jumping over trains on a bloody in Japan, and then fighting a big silver samurai, and this one, sad guy in the dirt. You know?
Yeah.
Would you be let down by the last one?
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe if you grew up with them, you know?
Sure.
Over this 8
But
year...
again, you've missed the X-Men movies
You've
somehow.
missed them all.
Yeah.
You don't even know they exist. You saw the end of the Wolverine, the post-credits, and you were like, what the fuck was that? Who were they?
So this guy shows up and he says, Wolverine, I need your help, and then nothing, and then he's sad and he lives in an old farm or factory or something. What happened? They're never going to explain it.
No.
And guess what? They don't. Even if you have watched all the other movies, they don't.
Well, let's talk about the timeline of this movie.
Okay.
Leave a like, of course, because I'm going to be talking about the timeline.
All right.
So James Mangold stated that this movie is set in 2029, and the idea to do that was that it doesn't conflict with anything coming before it. So technically it's like 6 years-ish after Days of Future Past, but also, if you go to the Marvel wiki pages, the main...
I will and do.
Good. The main X-Men timeline, which also isn't one timeline, but that's a whole other video and story,
That's
Mason,
right.
which we've probably done.
We've done, and we still haven't covered enough. Like, it's endless.
You figure it out.
Yeah.
So the main...
You make another video and you invite us to it. We'll give it a little like.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's right.
you
Because
like.
we owe you, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Because you've liked so many of these videos, and that was really nice of you.
So the main X-Men timeline is Earth 10005, and this movie alone, and none of the others, is Earth 17315. That's right, I said it like that.
Okay, and at time of recording, Deadpool and Wolverine is not out yet.
Yeah.
So we can only speculate which Wolverine is in that movie.
It's probably the other one.
Yeah, it's probably the other one. It's not this one.
No.
Different hair, different beard.
Yeah.
And he's dead. Spoiler alert. I had a note about timelines. You know, sometimes we look back at old sci-fi movies that are set in a future that's now the past, and we go, oh, how quaint. Blade Runner, it's set in 2019. They thought we'd have flying cars. Isn't that a bit of fun? I think in the 2030s, we're going to look back on this movie set in 2029 and think, wow, they really thought we'd have it good now. Imagine getting to live in an upturned grain silo in the desert. The sheer opulence. Only 2 roommates. Can you imagine?
It's got a fence. Well, it had a fence.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a fence
Probably
anymore.
got a breeze some days.
Oh,
a
my
hot
God.
breeze, you know?
Brilliant.
What a world.
Now, I think you said that you look at this movie like maybe the first X-Men movie happened and then some other stuff we didn't see, but nothing else.
That's what I like. I like the ambiguity of this. You know, this movie makes reference to some events around the Statue of Liberty. The media seems to know about the concept of the X-Men.
Yep.
But we don't really know.
They know they're all dead.
They know they're all dead. And Wolverine in this movie, he makes reference to how the stuff that happened in the comic books isn't what happened in real life.
Costumes for one.
Certainly. So I kind of like the idea that maybe all that really happened in this universe was maybe some of X-Men 1, and that's it. You know, none of the other crazy stuff.
They're just riding high off that Statue of Liberty thing that happened.
Remember that? I mean, we've caused some destruction now. We have killed a lot of innocent people. But you remember the thing? Remember I spun around the Statue of Liberty's hat that one time on my claws? Do you remember that?
Oh, man.
There's no video of that, but it happened. I also like the idea that maybe Professor X wasn't this like incredible precision instrument back in the
Which
day.
he isn't in the comics, really, is he?
Yeah, like you know, in the previous movies, we see him like freeze the entire population of a shopping mall.
Oh, I thought you meant like as a human being,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like a good soul.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely not. He never is that. and you know, sometimes he can like, you know, finally edit out somebody's memory or whatever. But like, what if he's just kind of a menace? Like maybe he was just this kind of steamroller. Like all he could do was sense some thoughts and then just...
He was a rich guy who went, I could do a school.
Yeah, right.
I don't like this education system. I'll do a school. Oh, I killed everyone.
Oh, no.
I sneezed and I killed everyone.
Yeah. But again, the ambiguity means you can think whatever you like.
That's
I think
right.
that's interesting.
And also, you can get as bloody and R-rated as you want, mate.
Hell yeah.
Effin' and Jeffin'. It makes for great stabbing. I think the LLPMs, the limb loss per minute ratio.
Oh, yeah.
It's off the charts, mate.
It is absolutely off the charts. You can F, you can Jeff.
Yep.
You can slice, you can dice. So prior to this movie coming out, if you recall, Hugh Jackman He went to, I think, some kind of Comic-Con, one of those Comic-Cons we had back in the before times, and he came out on stage and he went, "Old Man Logan," and everybody just lost their minds. And I think in retrospect, like, there's elements of that in this movie, but I think it's funny that in the Old Man Logan comic book, Logan is this avowed pacifist who'll go to any lengths, experience any amount of trauma to avoid hurting anybody. But at the start of this movie, Wolverine just kills 3 guys immediately for trying to steal a wheel off his car.
I mean, they did shoot him, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Well, this is not Old Man Logan.
No.
I mean, there's elements of it, like the slow healing, and he's just having a run of bad luck, can't get through a fence. I love that. You just can't get through a fence.
Yep.
You're just having a bad time. James Mangold, the director of this, he came out and just said, listen, this is Craig Kyle's X-23 run more than anything else.
Yeah.
And I think just calling it Old Man Logan and leaning into that for the marketing and the hype was a good idea. Because, I think that's what people were asking for, really.
I had a thought. It also came out this year, or potentially the next year or the previous year, The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And it also features like an iconic crowd favorite character.
With a beard.
Who's like a sad wreck now.
Yeah.
And I think your thoughts of limb loss per minute, I think that is probably what tipped this one over to, beloved by the fans and The Last Jedi, more divisive.
Yeah.
It's that Wolverine in this, very divisive in terms of limb loss.
True.
And
I guess also we'd seen, 14 to 15 Wolverine adventures prior.
true.
Like people were hanging out for
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker to do a flip. But we'd seen Wolverine do a flip.
That's probably true.
Many times.
At this point, we're finding the joy in not seeing Wolverine do a flip. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're absolutely
To have
right.
a grumble about it.
That's exactly. I'm too old to do a flip, and the audience is like, "We're also too old to do a flip." Actually,
we grew up with these 3 movies and these 3 movies alone. I think also making it R-rated, it's not just the gore that makes it a great movie, I feel. Because also they talk about how it's not catered to children. You can make scenes longer. There's more dialogue. The concepts for a comic book movie, they're more complex. And there's the stabbing. But like you can't take the time in, I don't know, X-Men, the one where they have to cross the road to do things like this,
To cross the road because of aliens. If you were confused, it's the one they have to cross the road because of aliens, and then they get on the train, and then the train spins off into space or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah, and look, I just want to shout out a few performances in this. Daphne Keane is incredible.
First role?
Yeah, I believe so,
Ever?
yeah.
Yeah.
Latest role at time of recording, Star Wars something.
That's right.
Stabbed, though. Stabbed 3 times.
All right.
Wolverine,
Yeah.
I mean, being a clone or sort of daughter of him and, the claws in the feet and all of that, just all good stuff.
Yeah.
She did a lot of the action, not exclusively, but a lot of that action is her, which I think is fantastic.
Boyd Holbrook, great air of menace to him.
Oh,
Terrific,
yeah.
you
Great
know?
hand.
Great hand.
I like how he repairs it and it flips backwards a little bit.
Sure.
I like that. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
He's becoming somewhat of a James Mangold favorite because, of course, he appeared in Indiana Jones and the something time travel hole.
He's
in the
also got
sky.
that air of menace in that movie.
He does, yeah.
Absolutely. I think he's great. I mean, Wolverine should have killed him and stuck him in a hole like 2 minutes after
straight
meeting him.
up.
Would have solved a lot of problems in this movie. But, then you get less Holbrook, don't you?
That's true, yeah.
You don't get the Holbrook.
Yeah.
You only get the Sunbrook.
I think Patrick Stewart is incredible. He completes his run in the X-Men trilogy as well as a guy who pops up in cameos at the end, and he finally gets his time to shine.
That's right.
In a Wolverine solo movie.
Yeah, and I think,
The anti-cerebro I like, the tipped over water tank. That's all great. Yeah.
just that we have stripped this of, floating wheelchairs and flashy superpowers and everything's chrome and glass. It gives a chance for all the performances to shine through.
Exactly.
I think, which is
yeah.
nice.
And I think Stephen Merchant as Caliban is
Great.
just terrific. He's come such a long way because obviously starting in The Office, he directed and co-wrote those episodes with Ricky Gervais. And he didn't even want to be in that show. He's like, I'm not an actor. I don't want to do this. And just seeing him in this, like, he's really developed as a performer.
Maybe it's the same with actors it is for politicians.
Oh.
If they really want to do it, you shouldn't let them do it because it's wrong and they'll ruin everything. So, politics like acting, it should be a lottery system. You get a letter in the post and it just says you're an actor or the president now. And you just have to do
Or
it for a
both.
couple of years. Yeah. That's right, the Ronald Reagan model. You have to do both. And it works out just great.
Every time. There is some nice callbacks to other X-Men movies. X-Men Origins, for example, there's just some farmers getting killed just because they happened to be there.
That's true.
What a sweet callback. I loved that Easter egg.
Another sweet callback is the adamantium bullet that
Yes.
Wolverine is maybe going to attempt to kill himself with if life doesn't work out as as he wants it to.
Which is, I don't know what he's looking for exactly.
No, because again, if you're just the guy who's watched these 3 Wolverine movies, you'd be like, that's not going to kill him. It's only going to erase his memories. Also, he's back to being James in this.
Yeah.
So
Officially,
he's James Howlett again. So at some point,
he got his memories.
he got his memories back because at the end of X-Men,
He probably
Wolverine.
spooned that bullet out of his brain.
Oh, you think so? And then he pasted
Yeah.
it back. He pasted all the goop back in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Oh, you think this isn't a new bullet? This is one of the.
Yeah, I think
It's one of the old
he took
bullets.
it out.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
It's
so
an
he's still got one in
indestructible
there.
bullet, so it would have been completely attacked.
That's so true, isn't it?
totally okay. How do you feel about Double Jackman in this? Because we get X-24.
That's true. We do.
So the villain in this, well, one of the villains. There's a lot of villains.
Oh, absolutely.
You look around.
Yeah.
There's a lot of villains in
Washington
this.
D.C.
Yeah.
A lot of villains there.
That's right. You see, what's his name? Not Hugh Grant.
Richard E. Grant.
Richard E. Hugh Grant.
Who's great, and
Yeah.
in the lead up to this movie, we saw he was cast, and a lot of people I think assumed he was Mr. Sinister.
Yeah.
He is a character from the comic books, but he's not Mr. Sinister, and I think that works a lot better in this movie because it's just like the banality of just an evil guy.
Yeah.
There's not some guy cackling going like, oh, I've produced these mutants I'm going to dominate the world. Bah. It's just a guy who's like, yeah, we're going to sell these.
Yeah, I love science.
Yeah, and money.
I love science and capitalism.
Yeah, that's right.
So do I, actually.
I got a letter in the mail that said I had to be a scientist and a capitalist.
But yeah, just him facing off against a younger, more ferocious, basically a version of him with zero personality.
Yeah.
Is great. And I think like the face replacement in this is just remarkable, incredible. Because of course, Hugh Jackman in this, when he's old man Logan, he's wearing a wig, he's wigged up.
That's right.
And then he's shaved head, paperback hero style.
That's right.
If he had a shaved head in that movie, Hugh Jackman, just good, just great
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Oh, and they cut him some mutton chops also. That's a callback. That's a bloody callback,
That's
mate.
a callback, all right.
Oh, I've got here just the subheading that says "Sweet callbacks in the finale."
Okay,
so
I'm
here we
ready.
are. 80% of all X-Men movies are running in the woods. We get that.
Sweet callback.
Yep. So here we get the ultimate running in the woods sequence. Wolverine fights another Wolverine, just like in X-Men 1 with Mystique. Remember that? She was a Wolverine.
And X-Men 2 when he fights a Lady Wolverine.
Oh yeah.
Lady Deathstrike.
And
And then in 3, there was probably some guys, on that big field of random mutants.
There was a Wolverine in there
would have been a
somewhere.
Wolverine guy,
Yeah.
When he fought 1-inch Spikes guy.
Oh yeah. We got adamantium bullet, as mentioned, and
true.
technically it did erase his memories. Technically.
I guess technically.
And we even got a truck flip. I mean, it's a bit sloppier than your regular X-Men truck flip, but it did the job. I recognize the reference.
Yeah. Also, I think Professor X's wheelchair falling over counts as a truck flip.
Okay. And I think a spectacular sequence in this is that you just get to see Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, Old Man Logan, and X-23 Daphne Keane just team up and just kill a bunch of dudes together.
Oh, hell
so
yeah.
you get the stuff that you're looking for. Maybe you don't want the kind of cerebral kind of look into a person's soul.
Sure.
But, and if you don't like that, well, that's fine. They kill a bunch of people at the end
This
together.
is the Matrix format. There's a lot of deep introspection, a lot of themes that a lot of people have found very valuable and eye-opening over the years. But if you don't like that, somebody's just doing a big kick. They're still doing that big kick. I think that's beautiful.
It certainly is, yeah. I also like it at the end, Wolverine shoots a guy with a gun. He's like, I'm tired.
Yeah, I mean, that was a callback to earlier in the movie where he said, I don't like guns, but I will shoot a guy with a gun.
If I'm tired.
If I'm tired.
If I'm out of juice.
Yeah.
God, and just, it is a beautiful ending. I really feel that for this character. Like, it doesn't attempt to go bigger and grander, and again, they're standing on top of an even bigger Statue of Liberty. We're probably going to get that in Deadpool and Wolverine or whatever.
But don't you think maybe the ending, the very poignant ending, where he's buried and they put a cross on his grave, and then X-23 Laura she tips it over, it turns it into an X. Don't you think it would have been a little? There should have been a little bit of fan service. They should have blared the X-Men cartoon theme really loudly over the top of it. Maybe blend it into the funeral dirge.
So do you want like a sad version of that, or just a dun 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 dun? Do you want that?
Yeah, I want that one. Yeah. I want that one.
Okay, terrific. But yeah, just that moment of peace, He finally gets a moment just to be like, God, oh, jeez. Oh, but, all right. This is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as good as being on a boat, which is where I want it to be. I mean, he should have just stolen a boat.
Yeah, he should. I mean, he stole a bunch of stuff.
He killed a bunch of men.
Yeah. They robbed that convenience store.
Yeah.
Very inconvenient for the guy who worked there.
Slippery slope to stealing a boat. That's what I've always said.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they say on, like, beware of marijuana posters. It's a slippery slope to stealing a boat. You smoke that reefer.
Wait, so you smoke weed, something, you end up stealing a boat.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's that Domino Tower meme.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. You got any more notes before we? Any hot topics of conversation?
Another thing that might have made this movie a little quicker is if that woman had just said, "Hey, listen, Wolverine." Mm-hmm. I could just run at you and start screaming your name, or I could just say I've got a clone of you in my car. You want to take a quick look? You want to take a squiz?
Yeah,
just for a second, see how you feel.
Just pop your head in. Pop your head in. Give it a sniff. You do that, I think.
Yeah. Do you smell a bit Wolverine-y?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's your mate. It's your mate. That's you, actually.
For those people who don't know, that's a very strange thing. To point to somebody who you wouldn't like necessarily and go, that's your mate to your friend. Yeah, you try it.
And if they look at you funny, go, actually, that's you.
You can flip it on them.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Mason. It's the return of Thoughts and Prizes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. The best thing about Thoughts and Prizes is, and people might be thinking I'm getting mad at Thoughts and Prizes, but I'm not.
No.
Because the thing about Thoughts and Prizes is, as a running gag, the payoff is going to have to be incredible. Because you've set this up for weeks, nay, months, like there's going to be a big joke payoff at the end.
Yeah.
So people
joke. No.
Okay, interesting.
There's going to be prizes. That's the payoff.
There's going to be guaranteed?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Not this week, though. I forgot to order the prizes. So we're going to have to delay Thoughts and Prizes for this week.
Well, that's a
But
shame.
leave a comment below.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be about Thoughts and Prizes, because that's not what Thoughts and Prizes is about.
Leave a comment below if you've thought of a punchline for this, because James has not thought of a punchline for this, and he's really, I can see it in his eyes. He is scrambling for an ending to this, and he doesn't have one yet. So just put it in there and he can steal your idea.
All right, let's do our other section. It's called Logrivia.
I love that.
This is our trivia section of the show where I go, whoa, here's some things worth mentioning.
Love that.
Professor X's psionic blast was done by shooting shaky footage and then restabilizing the frame in post, resulting in the motion blur, etc., and the smear and all of that. And it all looks very organic and unusual. I liked that thing. I liked it. I liked how everybody was frozen and he was just killing them.
Is fun.
And they knew they were going to get killed.
Yeah. And he's like, I do this, but I draw the line at stealing a boat. Kill you.
I need $10,000 or whatever I'm doing.
Hey, man, I know you said you wanted 70 grand for that boat, but how about I give you $1 and I don't kill you with my adamantium claws?
Of course, being the final Wolverine movie, apparently.
Put the quotation marks wherever you want.
The quotation clause, if you will. The thought was, do we pack this full of cameos? You know?
Okay, sure, yep.
So they obviously went through a few, but at one point, Sabretooth, as played by Liev Schreiber, was going to play a small role where he'd help Wolverine, X-23, and Professor X when they arrive in Oklahoma. Plus, there was going to be
Where do my allegiances lie? Who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows what happened between movies? Am I even still alive? Where have I been? It doesn't matter. I'm helping you now. Or I'm going to kill you. I'm going to help you. I'm here, though. Hello everyone.
Hello. Plus, there was going to be an underground railroad for mutants that was going to have a bunch of cameos in it. And I think they probably whittled that down to some kids with some vague X-Men powers that you can sort of recognize. There's an Iceman and a grass twisting lady. Yep. I don't know who's in there. I don't know who's in there, Mason.
Sure.
And this I like. Mark Millar, the creator of Old Man Logan, when this was announced, he thought this could work without the MCU characters. Basically, the idea was you do the road with Wolverine, but the specifics aren't important because, of course, in the comic book, he does a road trip with a blind Hawkeye, and he was like, oh, you could just do Cyclops and his visor's broken, so he's blind and with him. Or, instead of doing the Hulk in that, you do the Blob.
Sure.
So he's like, it's possible. It's not about the characters necessarily. It's just about, it's about getting the setting right and, and just slotting in whoever you need. Anyway, they didn't do any of that. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Now, in terms of box office, on a budget of $97 to $127 million.
Who knows? Hollywood.
Somewhere in that ballpark, apparently.
Okay, somebody lost some money. Mm-hmm. Somebody put some bloody money in the back of a truck and drove off with it.
Maybe.
Into a boat, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. The return on this was $618.2 million.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
We won't even worry about that bag of money that disappeared.
Nah. It opened in over 4,000 theaters across the US and became the widest opening R-rated release in cinema history at the time.
Ooh.
Big time movie when it happened. And of course, everybody was asking Hugh Jackman in and around the time, and even since, would you do a sequel? Would you do a follow-up, etc., and so forth?
Logan in Hawaii, etc. He's got the boat. He died, but they're going to weekend at Bernie's him.
Logan goes bananas.
Logan goes bananas, absolutely.
Yeah.
Back in the habit.
Hugh Jackman admitted to having...
Of stabbing people.
Oh, of course, yeah. Hugh Jackman admitted to having 2 lingering regrets about retiring from the role of Wolverine, one that he never appeared in an Avengers movie, and one that he never appeared in a Deadpool movie, which he sort of has, but it's like, it's using archival footage and a piece of paper stapled to Deadpool at one point. Yeah, but of course that is all reversed and
That's
happening.
right. Now, how do you feel about that? Because some people are like, well, this is a bloody stain on his legacy. He's going to do the Logan movie, and then he's going to do this silly one with farts and poops and butts and so forth.
Look, having not seen it at time of recording, do a fun one.
Yeah.
Just get a fun one. I mean, they're mates and they...
Yeah, this happens all the time in comic books. Because we've had the old man Logan storyline, which is about the end of the life of Wolverine, but he's still regular Wolverine in the comic books.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Exactly. Also, that Deadpool Wolverine movie just looks a lot like Old Man Logan also. But more comic book-esque. Anyway, speaking of, do you know we have a service called BigSandwich.co, Mason?
Yes.
Where in addition to early videos, including Caravan of Garbage, we do a bunch of stuff. We have a comic book club. Recently, we covered Old Man Logan.
That's right.
We also do video game Let's Plays. Recently, we covered the X-Men arcade game.
God, these are all optimizing those search engine results, aren't they?
Then you're going to love this. We also do movie commentaries, and recently we did an X-Men 1 movie commentary.
That's right.
We took it right back to the year 2000.
That's right. Can you imagine watching or even thinking about a movie prior to about 2010? We did it.
We did it.
We went way back.
How did we do it?
Eyes.
Yeah, we used our eyes. But yeah, in addition to that, of course, Caravan of Garbage there, as mentioned, goes up there early, including next week's. And here's a hint. It's not really a hint. It's normally just a very obvious clip of the movie we're watching.
Interesting. But again, it might be a movie prior to the year 2010, so a lot of people have no idea. It's Alien?
Yeah, it's Alien.
Nice.
Yeah, in case you don't know, it's Alien. That's the hint. It's the movie Alien, and then we're going to look at the Alien movies, the 4 of them.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's the plan. But don't tell anyone. If you figure it out, just keep it to yourself, we're doing.
That's right.
Also, we have a podcast called The Weekly Planet where we talk movies and comics and TV shows. That comes out every Monday. Big episode coming up for Deadpool and Wolverine, obviously.
That's right.
Swing on by. It's on its own YouTube channel. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple. It's wherever you get your podcasts from. Thanks, Lawrence, for the edit, I guess.
Thank you, Lawrence.
Yeah, Lawrence.
Good for you.
Yeah, Lawrence, good for
stuff.
you. Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, it was good. You did a good job.
I agree. Sometimes people say that I sound sarcastic.
No,
but
we're
I'm
being earnest.
I'm being earnest.
Good job, Lawrence.
Good job, Lawrence.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Grab that gem,
thanks
you guys.
for watching. I'm being earnest too.
Yeah. Ernest goes to camp. That's
Very
you.
good.
That's you and your mate.
Yeah, true. All right, bye.
Bye.